And good morning, team. Welcome. It is Wednesday, the 15th of September, 2021. It's the John and as if on cue, John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I'm your guy for today, Glen Henderson. And in case we haven't met before, but I think we have. Great to see you. As you can see, I'm in a little bit different venue today, which I'll just mention in just a moment. John, you may need to check me on the calendar. For some reason, I'm not able to see the calendar at the moment. I don't know why. I'll get it resolved in a minute. What I do know for sure is that this evening, I'm going to say 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Life and Business Tools, or is it 6 p.m. Eastern Time? Life and Business Tools with our good friend Adrian Garner. And somebody's going to be absolutely thrilled to know that tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, your boy is back with networking magic. Yes. You know, I picked up and I'll give you a little hint tonight. I picked up a book. Matter of fact, I was gifted a book by a good buddy of mine who wrote the darn thing. And so I'm starting working in this book here, Networking Like a Pro by Ivan Meisner and Brian Hilliard. Brian Hilliard would be the buddy of mine. And I'm starting to do some work out of that book. And I'm going to share one or two of my insights with you this evening, if that's all right with y'all.
One other item is on the calendar, Glenn, and that is the triumphant return last week of Books for Britain at 8 p.m. BST, British Summer Time, with Mandy Anderson. They are on Integrity is Everything by John Lavenia. So if you want to talk about that book, you can show up there at 8 p.m. London time. Yeah.
I've heard of that guy. So 8 p.m. BST, Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson. 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Adrian Garner, Life and Business Tools. 9 p.m. tonight, it's me. So let's get down into it. Just moved into brand new office. This is just, making conversation at this point, because I had an office that I was using previously. The thing is, it was a fair commute from the house. And I was finding that I was spending a bit too much time commuting back and forth. And there were other things kind of derailing me from getting done what I need to do. So I'm in a new joint here. It's called the Cannon here in Houston, Texas. You can look it up if you want to. I think it's cannon.com. It's a fabulous sort of co-working facility, and I've got myself a nice space here, and got the camera and mic and lights set up and all of that stuff. It's looking pretty good, I think. What do you think? So anyway, it's a pretty good deal, and the best thing about it for me is that it allows me to concentrate more, to focus my thoughts and my energy and effort. Oh, let's say hello to Daisy. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Robin Starkey is here in Virginia. Ace, my man, keep sending the good stuff, brother. Nice to see you. Edward is with us. And Lindsay Dollar, who told me earlier when we first got on the call that I said, hey, Lindsay, nice to see you. She says, oh, you don't want to see me. Apparently, she just got in from her outdoor workout, and she's waiting to get herself a bit more presentable. We're glad to, quote, see you, unquote, there, Money Mama, and John Lavenia, the man who started the whole deal, the man with the plan. Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. So I've actually been thinking about two things, and you'll tell me if they're related. Well, the first thing is sort of a minor kind of success tip, if you like. As a matter of fact, I was chatting with my buddy Brian just yesterday, and being quite transparent with him as I like to be. I was sharing with him that I had made a big mistake in I was supposed to meet with someone, get together and get some business done, and I completely forgot about the meeting. You believe it? I mean, it's a meeting that would have made me money. and so I spent, the better part of a couple of hours punching myself in the face about that. Fortunately, the prospective business deal is with a friend, so the business wasn't lost, just delayed, if you know what I mean. And it's all straightened out now. But I was kind of sharing with Brian and saying, man, this is really frustrating. How do I get around this? And you know what he did? He said, oh yeah, that's easy. Write stuff down. Do you believe it? And I've got this notebook here, and I had been using it, but I'd kind of gotten out of the habit of taking notes and making a note to do thus and such. And so here's the thing. My commitment to myself, in agreement with Brian, is that from now on, whenever I'm in a conversation with somebody talking about business or something personal, some appointment, something we're agreeing to do together, here's my instinctive response. And please feel free to hold me accountable to this if I'm ever in a conversation with you. And that is, okay, hang on. Okay, so we agreed to thus and such. Great. Hang on. Let me grab my notebook and pen, because if you don't mind, I'm not getting off the call. I'm not letting you get off the call until I make a note of this, write it down, and get it into my calendar, because I want to make sure that I hold myself accountable to do for you what I said I was going to do. That makes sense? Right? It's most of the best solutions in life are pretty darn simple, aren't they? Write it down so you don't forget, Glenn. So there's the sort of homeworking tip for today. It's nothing real fancy, nothing really complicated, but I'm going to guess that every one of us has at some point during the past day, week, month, year, blown something or forgotten to do something that I was going to do because I got derailed, because other things. And the minute I walked into the room to get ready to do the thing, my phone rang or text message showed up, or somebody knocked on the door, whatever it might have been. The old saying, the faintest pen is stronger than the strongest memory. So there's that. And now, as you might imagine, having experienced, as many of you have, the pleasure, as much pleasure as I had in writing the book, you know that I've watched a fair amount of television in my life. Wouldn't have written the book otherwise. Here's the thing. I also enjoy other kinds of television programming, some documentaries, certain movies that I like. And there's another a TV series, a kind of a science fiction mystery thing. You may have heard of it. Was started in 1959, I believe it was. Yeah, 1959 by a man named Rod Serling. The Twilight Zone, remember? Remember the Twilight Zone? I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm a huge fan. I don't think I'll write a book about Twilight Zone, though. Star Trek is the thing for me. But anyway, I was reviewing an episode that I had seen, that I've seen many, many times over. Just yesterday, actually, was watching an episode called The Changing of the Guard. It was from the 3rd season of The Twilight Zone. And it concerned an elderly teacher at a boys' school in a state here in the US, who was informed by the headmaster of the school that he was to be moved into retirement, somewhat against his wishes, but he had reached the mandatory retirement age a number of years before, and it was the feeling of the board of directors of the school that perhaps a younger man, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. And this teacher, Professor Ellis Fowler, as I recall his name, was quite distraught about this because he felt that he was a teacher of literature, mostly spent a lot of time teaching about poetry and the writings of the great poets over the years. As he was facing his retirement, he began to feel quite despairing in that he felt that perhaps he'd moved no one, he'd motivated no one, left no mark, made no mark, left no mark on the young men that he had taught. And then later on in the episode, he was outside, walking around outside, kind of depressed, and he saw a statue honoring the educator Horace Mann, and who was an educator and a writer, the founder of a school. As a matter of fact, my mother taught for some years at the Horace Mann School in New York City. Anyway, Horace Mann, there was a statue here on the campus of this school, and honoring Horace Mann with a quotation of a saying by Horace Mann. And this is what gets to the crux of our conversation today. The quote was, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." That's pretty profound. And you didn't really think I was going to take us into the deep water this Wednesday morning, did you? This is fairly profound stuff. Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. And then the rest of the episode concerns how Professor Fowler is, by quite mysterious circumstances, let's say, made aware and reminded that in fact he has left a mark on the young men who've been in his charge over the years. Go back and check out the episode sometime. YouTube it, see if you can find it someplace. You might enjoy it. It's called The Changing of the Guard, from the Twilight Zone, season 3, the original Twilight Zone, mind you, mark you, as Professor Fowler would say, by Rod Serling. So I got to thinking about this, and to me, it brings into focus our vision. What is it we mean to accomplish in our life? Now, it doesn't have to be, when I say our vision, it doesn't have to be a cure for cancer, although that'd be nice. It doesn't have to be the changing of the national landscape or something huge like this. You don't have to write a book or make a great movie or give the speeches before cheering crowds. None of that. Let's examine this. Some victory for humanity. There was an old spiritual, what they used to call an old Negro spiritual that we used to sing in church back in the day. And it talks a little bit about this idea of winning some victory for humanity. After all, what is humanity? One person. Humanity begins with you, me. So the old spiritual used to go, if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show my brother that he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. So I firmly believe that each of us has the opportunity to change one life for the better, to reach a hand out and help one person to improve their life circumstances, to improve their financial circumstances. We can help one person to come to a realization, a new realization. What's a good word? An epiphany, an aha moment. If I can help somebody to have an aha moment, the kind that will guide and maybe assist that person into a new dimension of successful living. If I can show by my own experience, we'll get back to that word in a moment. If I can show by my own experience how to be successful in a given venture, whether it's business, personal, relationship, physical, medical, fitness, a spiritual journey, a mindset training, helping someone to overcome an addiction, perhaps. Some of us have some experience in that area, particularly in having overcome some addiction ourselves, and we're able to help someone else. To me, all of these, by our own experience, we can help somebody else. And what is this experience? Oscar Wilde said, experience is the name we give to our own mistakes. And so there is this very powerful motivation here that if I'm going to be of help to someone, to anyone, I need to have that experience, that personal experience to draw on. And I think the only way, I think we've seen in many of our stories and experiences that we've shared with one another here over the course of the past year and change with our mastermind, is that the only way to gain that kind of experience, the kind of experience that will be of some value to others, is to not be afraid to take a risk, to take a chance, take an action, make a move, pick up the phone and make the call, send the text message, start the new business, start the new training course. Dr. Anthony Campolo was a sociologist, and he conducted a survey of people over the age of 90 who were asked to look back on their lives and reflect, and each study subject was asked a very simple question. The question was, if you had it to do over again, what would you do differently? There were many, many answers that came through that were offered by the subjects. Two stood above all the rest in terms of frequency and how often these responses were given. The two most frequent responses were, I would reflect more, and I would risk more. So that is, don't be afraid to take a risk. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. There's a song that I really like. In fact, I like it so much. I find it so inspiring and so motivating. It's in my workout playlist. It's a song by a group called Nickelback. John, you may know this song. It may not be hardcore enough for you, my friend. But the song is called If Today Was Your Last Day. And there's one line in the song, one verse, against the grain should be a way of life. What's worth the prize is always worth the fight. And then it says, there's no second chances, no second tries, so live it like you'll never live it twice. And here's the line, here's the one. Don't take the free ride in your own life. Don't take the free ride in your own life. Big achievements are supposed to be hard. You're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to screw it up. That's how we learn. That's how we gain experience. That's how we perfect our technique, our practice, whatever it is. Albert Hubbard said, the biggest mistake you can make in life is continually fearing that you'll make one. Ooh, let me say that again. The biggest mistake you can make in life is continually fearing that you'll make one. Remember, it's not a crime to make a mistake. In fact, it's a crime if you don't learn, if we don't learn from our mistakes. Don't be afraid of them. I keep going back to this. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I have to tell you, this is something that I have struggled with in my life over the years. Being a musician, being a professional singer and entertainer, there's a very powerful drive, a very powerful motivation for me to be perfect, to sing the perfect song, to give the perfect rendition, the perfect performance of a song, the perfect moment of connection with my audience. Continually striving, wanting to be that perfect performer, to achieve that perfect moment, that moment of perfect communication with my listener, perfect communication of the song, perfect expression of the emotion behind the song. I can tell you this, I have been singing for money for 45 years, and I am still waiting, seeking that perfect moment on stage. Still looking for it. I'm close a couple of times, but it is the striving, it's the stumbling, it's the me taking a risk, putting myself out there sometimes a bit too far with a song, taking a bit too much of a risk with an audience, saying the wrong thing on a prospecting phone call, giving a response that didn't produce the result I desired in a presentation or an overview or a follow-up or a conversation with a customer. Screwing it up on stage. Oh yeah, you can believe I've done that. I also believe though that over the course of my personal performances, musical performances over the years, as a singer, as an entertainer, as a connector with audiences, I believe with all of my being that I have at least once won a victory with my music by making someone feel better, by brightening someone's day, by giving someone hope, by helping someone to see with my words and my notes and my voice and my stage presence, helping someone to see that all hope is not lost, that tomorrow will be a better day, and that in fact, today maybe wasn't as bad as you thought, and tomorrow's going to be way better. So it brings us back, doesn't it, to this saying from Horace Mann: be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. There's a lot more I want to do. I've got a lot of goals. I've got a lot of desired future outcomes that I'm seeking to achieve, as are we all. And that's as it should be. One of the things that I admire so much about my sainted mother, who just turned 86 years old last month, is the fact that my mama is always working on something new. She's always working on a project with my sister, who's a minister there in Charlotte, North Carolina, where mama lives. She's always meeting with some new people. She's just started, my mama has just started a brand new kind of ladies group, ladies Bible study and prayer group in her home there in Charlotte. Something new. She's always got something going on, something coming up, always got something that she's looking forward to. I believe that's the key to her vitality, her youthfulness, her hopeful vision, positive vision of life. She's always got something. So, said all that to say, forward-looking goals are as it should be, or as our lives should be. And I have them. The thing is, if I think about it, nobody knows when our number is going to come up, if you know what I mean. If mine were to come up tonight, I could look back on my career as a singer and some of the other things I've accomplished in my life. I could look back and say, you know what? I'm cool. I'm okay. Because I've won at least one victory for humanity. So how is it for you? Are you prepared to take the risk? Are you prepared to start the new thing? Are you prepared to pick up the phone call? Sometimes pick up the phone and make the call. Sometimes in the network marketing, direct selling industry, people like to talk about something called the chicken list. Those people that you want to talk with about your product, your service, your opportunity, whatever it might be. But you're a little nervous because they're already making your perception is, oh, they're already successful. They're already making plenty of money. They wouldn't be interested in what I have to say or what I have to offer. We'll talk more about that mental conversation in a future session. But for our purposes right now, pick up the phone, take the risk. What's the worst that possibly happen? They'll say no. But you've taken the shot. You've taken the step. Maybe you make a mistake. Maybe you step on your tongue the first time. So what? You learn from it. You gain that little bit of confidence that comes from the fact that you made the call in the first place, that you took the step, took the risk, took the action in the first place. And you know what else? Somebody's watching you. Might be a friend, might be loved ones, someone living in your house, might be a child, might be a protege, a mentee, someone you're working with, might be a complete stranger watching, observing to see how you handle a tough moment. So you know what? You know what's possible? What I just thought of? It's entirely possible that you've already won some victory for mankind, for humanity. Is that possible? Maybe. Take a look back sometime, look over your life. Even the attempt is a victory. What do I mean? Even the attempt is a victory over fear. It's a victory over your hesitation. It's a victory over your self-limiting beliefs. It's a victory over that little voice, that little accusing voice in the back of my head that keeps telling, you know, the imposter thing. Who do you think you are to, who do you think you are to help somebody else? Well, I don't know who I am, but I know this, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take the shots. Ooh, somebody was paying attention. Lindsay, I said this to somebody recently on a call that I was hosting. And it's straight out of, do you know where this is from, Lindsay? Straight out of Star Trek. Ha, you knew I was going there, didn't you? Everything is impossible until it's not. So we look at it that way. We look at the risk, the step we're about to take. And sometimes the risk is in doing something consistently enough, doing simple tasks, taking simple steps consistently enough over the course of time that eventually we reach our goal. And someone, I'll guarantee you, someone is watching. And sometimes the victory that we win is by helping someone else to win. So, bottom line, and then I want to hear from you. I want to chat with you. Decide what it is you want to accomplish. Decide what your overall vision is for your life. Decide how you want to make a difference. Then take a step, take an action, take a risk, make a mistake, drop the ball, screw it up, step on your tongue, learn from it, recognize the mistake, acknowledge it, learn from it, move forward, and help someone else to succeed, help someone else to take a step forward, and be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. It really is a very good episode. You ought to check it out. What's on your mind? I would love to hear from you. One of these days, I'm going to put our friend Lindsay on the spot, given the fact that she took notes, paid attention to what somebody said one time. So what do you think about this? What do you think about this whole thing of taking steps, being willing to take the risk and make a mistake in aid of winning a victory, helping someone else to win a victory? What do you think? Hey, Ingrid, how are you?
Oh, just peachy, thanks.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's what this is all about these days, isn't it? It's pick your hill to die on.
I like that. I like that.
I liked it too until it was reality. So yeah, this is very timely.
Martin Luther King, wasn't it? Martin Luther King said, unless you have found something for which you are ready to die, then you're not fit to live. Ooh.
Then we're pretty damn fit. That's all I can say.
I like it. I like it. Yes, thank you, Ingrid. That's interesting. Pick the hill you're prepared to die on. That sounds pretty much like a vision to me. What do you think, Lindsay? What's happening, Money Mama?
I think I like that. Pick the hill you're ready to die on. I think that, I just lost it. You have to take risks. I mean, you're going to live you could now live in a bubble, protect you from everything. Yeah, you could, but you could take that step that you're scared to take, and you can reason with that fear of why it's not valid anymore, and that nobody's going to take out, John's not going to take out an assault rifle and riddle me full of bullets for making a phone call that didn't, nobody's going to kill you for not trying, or making a phone call and falling on your face. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they're done that. Forget how to talk, but you learn from it. You get more prepared for it and more confident in it. And it's been a process for me. So yeah, I mean, you got to me, that's, that quote was really good. Be ashamed to die until you've won some victory for humanity. Well, if you've shown somebody that it's not going to kill you to pick up the phone and talk to it. We used to have the little phones on the wall with cords, and you had to just guess of who's calling, no caller ID. But no, we weren't scared to answer the phone then, or make calls to whomever. I don't know. It's just kind of like going back to when you're a kid and you didn't have any of the consciousness. I don't know. Your inner child needs to come out and pick up that phone and make the phone call, because they'll do a much better job. Or mine, because mine, that's just, kids don't have any hesitation with saying exactly what's on their mind.
This is really interesting, Lindsay, what you're talking about here. And I find it really useful for me, actually, anyway, that you've brought up this idea of the inner child. And there was a time when we weren't afraid to answer the phone. We just picked it up and what I'm wondering, what happened? What switched? What flipped in us that we suddenly got afraid to pick up the phone? This is interesting, that we suddenly got afraid to take the step, to take the risk, to, afraid that falling on our face meant the end of the world.
Yeah. Me personally, I think it was kids at school. I mean, they can be pretty mean, and they can make you doubt yourself as to where the will to fail. That I was re-listening to that last night, and
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. But I think you can take on what other people think of you, and I really make an effort to not do that. There are some people I do care what they think, but mostly no, it is what it is.
Thank you, Lindsay. You just reminded me of something which I want to remember. Make sure I remember. So I'm writing it down. Writing it down so I don't forget. Virginia, our good friend. How are you?
Unmute. Take hand down. One thing at a time. I couldn't get sleep. I had too much energy last night. I was thinking about too many things. This is a wonderful and well-timed topic for me. I'm going to address a couple things. Writing it down, I overwrite it down. And so I have too many calendars. So I've got the one that Shannon always recommends, with all the colors in it. Because I like to take, it's big, but I like to take this with me, and I'm tactile, and then I don't always want to do this on my phone, but I do have Google Calendar that crosses between my phone and my laptops, desktops, is wherever I am. The only problem I have is sometimes I'll write it down in one and then I'll forget that I need to put it on my electronic calendar. I actually we always have our phones with us, and you might not always have that little notebook with you. So if you come up with a calendar or something that works for you, and then a reminder. I also have a to-do list that is on my phone that I sometimes forget to look at, but it will remind me. And then mostly my to-do list is, here or someplace else. So that's about that. The other thing is, as Ingrid said, pick the hill you want to die on. Not intending to die. I'm picking the hill I want to stick my flag in and declare victory over, that I've got this hill, but I am prepared to die on that hill. By whose hand, I don't know. Anyway, so I've got a new venture, which I'm kind of involved with Ingrid.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. But when you're looking at the point of what can you do to help someone to make your mark, as Horace Mann was saying, and this is very much a product that helps with healthcare and better life and all of that kind of stuff. Excellent. But then sometimes people don't want to hear about it, especially your family. Because they know you and, oh, you're not, what do you know, or whatever, So I have really taken to heart also lately all of your networking tips that you have given over the past and building relationships. And I think that actually works really well on there. So what helps us to keep going is to be passionate about what you're doing and realize that you're going to have those slumps, and you're going to get, and everything in life, especially if you're trying to help somebody with something, whether there's monetary exchange or not, it's a sales game. You have to sell that person or persuade that person that the rationale you're giving them is logical and makes sense. And so that would be hopefully beneficial to them. Unless, of course, they're your grown-up kids, and then they don't want to hear anything you have to say, because what do you know anyway?
Yes.
But so you've got to gently figure out how to, look at what that person is looking for and how if there's a need there that you can fill for them or not. And, you know, if there is, and no may not be no. No might be, I don't understand. I need more information. I need more time. It's not the right time for me right now. And like you say, with networking, you can always circle back later, you know, on that. And do you like my blue nails?
Holy moly. Cobalt. Nice.
I do. I noticed those. They look really
Did
good.
them myself. Saving the money.
What?
Hell yeah, all that.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about doing something with my nails for this Halloween. I'm thinking about going
Oh, that'd be
goth.
cool.
I think might go goth. What do you think? I don't know. I've got a couple ideas.
You mean you might wear black on black or something? What a surprise.
Black on black on black. Yeah. I never wear that kind of stuff anyway.
No, never.
Find out what someone needs and help them get it. That's the whole thing, isn't it? And even if this was the hard part for me, was even if helping that person get what they need doesn't involve my product or my service or my opportunity, I'm helping them get what they need. I'm helping them to win that small victory. Yes, indeed. Oh, I remember what it was. You were talking about a little bit about opinions and what other people think, and Lindsay was saying the same, was mentioning the same thing, and I remembered an old saying, and I'm going to write this down and post it on the wall in my new office here someplace. The saying is, I used to worry about what other people thought. I used to worry about what other people think, until one day I tried to pay my bills with their opinions. It sounds so silly when you put it that way, doesn't it? So anyway, and you know what? You've just given me an idea for another Gen Sesh topic here, Virginia. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
What was the idea?
Well, the idea, this whole thing about what will they think? Boy, we could talk about that for an hour, couldn't we? What will people think? And what's the right answer to that question? Anyway, I'm not giving away any hints. Well, we'll talk about that at another time. You know, we don't want to fire hose anybody with too much information today. Thank you all so much for spending a few minutes with us once again. John has graciously laid out the schedule for us, and we appreciate it. Tonight, this evening, 8 p.m. BST, Books for Britain with our good friend Mandy Anderson, covering a book called Integrity is Everything, written by some fella we may have heard of. 6 p.m. this evening, Life and Business Tools. Life and Business Tools with Adrian Garner. And then 9 p.m. Eastern, it's yours truly, Networking Magic. We're going to be looking a little bit at a couple of tips out of Networking Like a Pro. And by the way, Virginia, I am thrilled. I'm absolutely gratified that some of the things we've talked about in our Networking Magic sessions have been of value to you. So that's always a big thing for me, that to know that somebody is benefiting, is gaining value from something that I've shared, and I appreciate that. So,
well, if I could just add to that, at first last year, I was like, I'm really not interested in networking. You know, just buy my darn book online. Don't bother me. You know, don't network with me. Just go shop. But then, as I'm exploring other things, it really is important to create relationships, because we have heard too that the people associate with, people do business with, those people they know and trust.
mm-hmm.
And so it's very important to build those.
Yep. In BNI, it's known as VCP: visibility, credibility, profitability. It's just another way of saying People, other things being equal, people will do business with, as you said, and refer business to those people that they know, like, and trust. It's always been that way. I tried for most of my business life to deny that absolute unchanging truth. And then I finally got punched in the face with the absolute unchanging truth. And, you know, it only takes me 40 years to figure something out, you know. I'm a quick learner. Again, thank you all so much. We're gonna give you back 14 minutes of your busy day. How about that? Thank you, and we shall see you in the rest of the sessions this afternoon and this evening, my friends. Have a great one. Make it a great day. Bye for now.
Thank you.